Liv Morgan's long history with Rhea Ripley, explained. At WrestleMania 40, Rhea Ripley had the highest of highs when she defeated Becky Lynch to retain her WWE Women's World Championship. On the following Raw, however, she was attacked backstage by a revenge-seeking Liv Morgan. While meant to start their feud, it instead resulted in a real-life injury which forced Ripley to drop her title. Liv Morgan lost her chance to capture that title in a battle royal, but she later found herself with the strap around her waist. In the time since, the feud between the pair has escalated and escalated. Some fans may be unaware though that Ripley and Morgan have been intertwined in their WWE paths before, making this feud all the more personal. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan are two women who have crossed paths on multiple occasions in WWE, whether it be as tag team partners or rivals. In 2024, their bad blood reached new heights, as Morgan not only injured Ripley, but also took what was previously hers, the WWE Women's World Championship. Given the escalation of their rivalry this year, it makes sense to take a renewed look at how things have developed, and how much deeper their relationship has gotten in WWE. Love triangles, world championships, and injuries have all played a role in making this a very personal feud. The feud between Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley has been one of WWE's longest-running and most prominent of 2024. Ripley and Morgan are two wrestlers who look set to be tied together in their respective legacies forever, with a history of friendship, teaming as partners, and feuding. Since our last look at their tumultuous journey, things have only proceeded to get more and more intense, with the pair involved in a dramatic love triangle, warring over world titles, and battling on multiple premium live events too, trading victories, brawling on a weekly basis, and engaging in what feels like a never-ending rivalry. It seemed for some time like it was never ever going to get to this point, but all signs are pointing towards the fact that the feud between Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan may finally be done, for now at least. The two have closed the chapter on their current rivalry after a big title match that had a decisive winner. Of course, their history together may not be fully written in the long run, as there is plenty of time for WWE to run their feud back or even reunite them as a tag team, but with things done and dusted for now, it provides a great opportunity to take another look at their history with one another and how things developed at the back end of 2024 and at the start of 2025. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan were in a tag team together. Liv for Brutality lost a women's tag team championship match at WrestleMania 38. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan started out as opponents before becoming a Raw babyface tag team. Liv Morgan took the pin in a women's tag team championship loss at WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley walked away from Liv Morgan on the Raw after WrestleMania. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley began working together as a tag team in March 2022 after first being opponents. Known as Liv for Brutality, the babyface pair quickly became a fun babyface team, not known only for dominating their opponents in the ring, then celebrating with Morgan jumping in Ripley's arms after, but their high-energy backstage interviews. At WrestleMania 38, Liv for Brutality competed for the Women's Tag Team Champions on Night 2 in a fatal four-way against the championship team of Carmella and Queen Zelina, Natalya and Shayna Baszler, and Sasha Banks and Naomi. It was, of course, Banks and Naomi who won the match, with Liv Morgan taking the pin. On the Raw after WrestleMania, after another loss, a frustrated Ripley walked away from Morgan. Rhea Ripley attacked Liv Morgan on an episode of Raw. Rhea Ripley was sick of losing with Liv Morgan as her partner. Rhea Ripley turned on Liv Morgan with a brutal beatdown. Ripley beat Liv Morgan in almost every match they had. Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, and Asuka were the final three in the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble. Liv for Brutality stayed together, but after losing a championship match to Banks and Naomi on the April 18, 2022 Raw, Ripley finally had enough and attacked her partner in the ring, giving Morgan a riptide. The next week, as Ripley explained in a backstage interview that the attack happened because she had finally opened her eyes, Morgan struck, taking out her former friend. It led to a one-on-one match on the May 9th Raw, won by the future mommy, with the original formation of Judgment Day, Edge and Damian Priest, watching on. A few weeks later, they met again, this time in the mixed tag team match of Morgan and AJ Styles versus Ripley and Priest. With some outside interference from Edge, Rhea Ripley once again beat Liv Morgan. They met once more on the next week's Raw in singles competition, with Morgan finally being able to conquer her foe. This led to a 6-person mixed tag team match at Hell in a Cell, with Judgment Day battling Liv Morgan, AJ Styles, and Finn Balor. Unfortunately for Liv, she was on the losing side once again. Their next big encounter came at the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble, as the final 3 competitors came down to Ripley, Morgan, and Asuka. Ripley eliminated both women. As Ripley geared up for a WrestleMania 39 match with SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair, she faced Morgan on the Blue Brand show and beat her yet again. At nearly every turn, Ripley was dominating her one-time friend. Liv Morgan was written off WWE TV after Rhea Ripley beat her with a chair. Liv Morgan had a real-life shoulder injury. Rhea Ripley became the WWE Women's World Champion. Liv Morgan became WWE Women's Tag Team Champions with Raquel Rodriguez. Morgan had an interesting moment with Dominik Mysterio on Raw. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley found success apart in 2023, with Ripley beating everyone in her path as the Women's World Champion and Liv Morgan becoming Women's Tag Team Champions with Raquel Rodriguez. Ripley couldn't let the success stand though, leading to a backstage brawl between the 3 champions on the July 17th Raw. Later in the night, during a tag team championship match with Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green, Morgan took the pinfall due to her injuries from the earlier attack. Enraged, she got her revenge on Ripley later in the night when Mommy was ringside for a Dominik Mysterio match. The next week, they were set to meet on Raw in a singles match one more time, but Ripley savagely beat up Morgan before the bell, working on her shoulder and injuring it with a chair. This was done to write off Morgan, who had injured her shoulder in real life. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan had a fully fledged feud in 2024. Liv Morgan's revenge tour met Rhea Ripley. Liv Morgan inadvertently injured Rhea Ripley in real life. This injury played into a storyline which saw Liv Morgan win the Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan have played tug-of-war over the love of Dominik Mysterio. At the 2024 Royal Rumble, Liv Morgan made her return to WWE after several months on the shelf. In an ironic twist, Morgan, who was gone for 6 months because of an injury at the hands of Rhea Ripley in a storyline, then accidentally injured Ripley's own shoulder for real during their backstage brawl. This threw a spanner in WWE's plans, but they managed to find a way to add fire to the story with this new hurdle. After Ripley had to vacate the gold, it was initially won by Becky Lynch, but thanks to Dominik Mysterio's interference, Liv Morgan picked up the Women's World Championship at the King and Queen of the Ring PLE. 2024 was the best year of Liv's career as she went on a revenge tour. With Rhea Ripley injured, Liv Morgan kept their rivalry alive. As with so many rising stars, WWE put Liv Morgan on the mountaintop, then didn't know what to do with her. The story was about her rise, but there wasn't much of a follow-through. Her title reign was weak and forgettable, and 3 months later, the strap was back around Ronda Rousey's waist. She was the runner-up at the Royal Rumble, losing to Rhea Ripley, but there's no consolation for second place. She did get another tag team reign with Raquel Rodriguez, but after 2 weeks, they lost the gold, and a week later she was attacked by Ripley to write her off due to a second shoulder injury. Injuries have often led to a wrestling star being forgotten, and with Morgan gone for half a year, this could have easily been her fate. Instead, 2024 ended up being her best year ever. She returned at the Royal Rumble, again coming in second place. The same thing then happened at the Elimination Chamber. Sick of coming up short, Liv Morgan went on her revenge tour. Ironically, after attacking Rhea Ripley, the Eradicator suffered a real-life shoulder injury. That could have been a disaster for Liv's rise, but it became part of her story. She'd hurt the woman who had hurt her. At the King and Queen of the Ring, she beat Becky Lynch, becoming a women's champion for the second time, thanks in part to Dominik Mysterio. WWE crafted a brilliant storyline with Liv flirting with Dom and Dominik being pulled towards her in Rhea's absence. At SummerSlam, with Rhea returning to face Liv, we got one of the best moments of the year when Mysterio and Morgan kissed. They instantly became the biggest heels in WWE. Liv had kept her storyline with Rhea going alone for so long, now we got to see her get her comeuppance. Fans loved every second of it, and without Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley wouldn't be the megastar she is today. WWE needs to find a way to keep Liv Morgan active during her injury. She seriously hurt her shoulder during a Raw match. She has stayed in the main event while saving the women's tag team division. Hollywood noticed Morgan with a lead role in Bad Lieutenant, Tokyo. Liv had just started a potential feud with Roxanne Perez. With Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest removed from the Judgment Day, it was Liv Morgan's character who kept the faction propped up when it probably should have ended. Of course, the good guy always conquers the bad guy at the end, so Liv Morgan lost her title, but she didn't lose her spot. She has